Hello and welcome to the Ross Clown Podcast. I'm your host, Car.Ross Sr. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. Listen, I want to give a shout out to all of those that are listening and those that have been tuning in. And first of all, I want to say thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. It just brings me joy that I'm able to reach people that I can't necessarily see, but I can touch you with the words of my mouth and I can touch you with what I'm saying. And I hope that it has been is bringing you some gratification as much as it is bringing me gratification to be able to bring to you information and resources that can help you become better. Again, these conversations are conversations that I've either dealt with personally, I've had experience with those things, and I've been able to grow from them. So why wouldn't I share that with you? So I want to say hello to my hometown, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Trey-Fo. Thank you for listening. A shout out to Greensboro, North Carolina, the Gate City. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to those that are listening in the Clemensville area. North Wilkesboro, what's up? Stand up. Those that are listening in Rural Hall. Over there in Raleigh-Durham, High Point, North Carolina. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Those that are listening over there in Knightdale, what's happening? Down there in the Queen City, what's happening? Charlotte, North Carolina. So glad that you guys decided to tune in to listening. Shout out to Boardman. What's happening down there in Boardman? Shout out to you. Shout out to those that are listening in Atlanta. Shout out to Detroit over there. Y'all got me jitting in here right now. If you've never been to Detroit and you don't know what jitting is, just look it up, all right? And a long time ago, many years ago, I got a chance to go down to I want to say it was the Soul Fest, and I got a chance to go to the Fox Theater, and man, it was dope. Detroit's a great town. That was in the early 90s, and of course I got to experience again as I got older, but in the early 90s when I was in the military, I had the opportunity of going to Detroit as well. Great town, great city. Shout out to those that are listening in Atlanta, those that are listening down there in Texas. Listen, all over. And listen, if I don't get a chance to shout you out, shout out to those that are listening in Maryland and Virginia, over there in Alexandria and Virginia Beach and Danville. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. And I gotta go abroad over there to the Kingdom of Belgium, over there in Brussels, Belgium, which is the capital. Listen, I'm so very, very excited to have you guys tuning in. And I want to say to you guys, hello. In Flemish. I've been doing my due diligence, I told you guys, and hopefully I can say, don't zing. That's right, yes. I'm going to give myself a hand clap. And dag. If you don't know what that means, then trust me, you can learn a little Flemish yourself. Those are just a few things that I've learned thus far, and I'm going to continue to do that. And bonjour to the French community over there in the Brussels, Belgium area. Yes, man. Shout out to you guys over there. I learned something great about the community. Zion, which is the lion that represents that area. And listen, I'm super, super excited that you guys are tuning in. Keep tuning in, and hopefully we can keep bringing you some great dialogue. Shout out to family over there in Senegal, to the family over there in the Middle East. Shout out to those that are all over the world listening. To my Netherlands family, thank you for tuning in. And again, I take this time to say my hellos because you guys have taken the time to listen. It's a kind gesture to get back to you. So today's topic, we're going to talk about complaining. Are you a complainer? Are you a whiner? Something you got to ask yourself. Did you know the average person complains between 15 to 30 times a day? And that's according to Will Bowen. Bowen. He's a best-selling author of the book A Complaint-Free World. So the question is, why do humans complain so much? Emotional regulation. Sometimes people complain as a way of managing their emotions. By venting their feelings, they hope to lessen the severity of these distressing emotions. Mood. People may be more likely to complain when they are experiencing a negative mood. So listen, we're going to go ahead and get right on into it. What does the word complaining mean? And it is a noun. It is the expression of dissatisfaction, of annoyance about something. Expressing dissatisfaction of annoyance about something. State that one is suffering from a pain. Annoyed about something. So that's what the word complain means. Literally. So have you ever found yourself complaining? Have you ever found yourself just always complaining about something? Now listen, I do understand that when you have a complaint as it pertains to your health, then by all means, get in a hurry and go take care of that. But not only does that go for a complaint that you're having about your body or something hurting you, your mental or your dissatisfaction about something, then guess what? You have the ability to change it and make it correct and correct it. And I know that's easier said than done. I'm not, again, like I always say, as I talk to you, I talk to myself. And I didn't get here because I know everything. I'm able to talk about this because I've experienced it. And there are times that I still complain. So I'm no better than you. But there are ways that you can navigate through this part of the psychology of your mind. You can be optimistic and think positive about it, you know. Choose to be optimistic. And I know it's easy for us as humans to be a pessimist, to be a complainer, always complaining about something. Just, oh my God, always. We can do that. It's real easy to do that. You know, we can always see the bad in something before we can see the good in something. And that's part of you just being a human. But I promise you, if you start thinking a little different and doing some things different, then you'll begin to see some change happening. You know, nobody likes a complainer. Have you ever worked on a job or just been around people who just complain all the time? And you find yourself sometimes you just want to say, hey, man, would you just shut the hell up? Because sometimes we can be insensitive as humans. Natural reaction if you don't want to be around it. So your answer probably would be, yes, of course. And usually, like I just said, the response would be, oh my God, I really don't want to hear that today. And I'll fill in the blanks there, whatever you say. Oh, truthfully, being a complainer, you can become almost like a vampire. You literally suck the emotions out of everyone you encounter because you're always complaining. Now, listen, if this is an area where you are weak, hopefully we can say something today that would empower you by assisting you on becoming better. Look, we all have problems. We all have situations in life that can just take you there. Listen, we're not denying that, but you just can't stay there. Change is necessary. And hopefully, I can say something today that will help you bring about that change. It's not easy. So I want you to know I'm not saying it's easy, but what I am saying, especially if this is an area where you're weak at, maybe life has dealt you a bad deck of cards, or maybe you perpetuated something that has caused you to be in the situation that you're in. And I know that's tough to hear because there was a time in my life where I wrestled with that. But sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, did I perpetuate that very thing that I'm complaining about? Maybe you're working on a job that you hate. Maybe you're friends with somebody that you really just don't like. Oh, if we just be real, maybe you're doing business. Maybe you're doing something, a hobby, and you just don't like it no more. And you made an alt that you made not an alt, but you made a pact. Excuse me. You made a pact or a commitment and said, I am not going to mess this up. But yet and still, you find yourself being passive aggressive and always complaining. You find yourself tapping into that passive aggressive mode. And you're always complaining about the situation that you're in. But you have the power on the inside to change it. Whew. Sometimes that's a tough pill to swallow when somebody says that to you. Somebody had to say it to me. They said, well, if you still there, if you still in this relationship or you still working on that job, then it don't sound like they got the problem. It sounds like you got the problem. So remember, you can change your situation, but you're not going to get it done by complaining. What you are going to be able to do, though, is you're going to have to observe your situation, look at it, find out whether or not, hey, is this depressing me? Am I no longer happy doing this? Am I tired of getting up, going, doing this and doing that? Now, listen, let me say this to you. Let me say this from a wisdom aspect of it, all right? Let me throw some wisdom in here, all right? Now, don't just walk away from your job and you got bills to pay. Okay, please be wise now. Let's use some good doggone common sense. Don't just walk away from your job. That's not what I'm advising you to do. What I am advising you to do is take a step back and breathe. Give some thought to your situation. And then begin to search for something better. And again, if you're sick and you're complaining about your chest, go to the doctor and find out what's wrong with it. You have the ability to find out the solution to your problem and then just fix it. And that may be tough to hear, but that's just being so honest. Somebody told me the same thing. Man, stop all that complaining. You can change it. Why you whining about? Every time I see you, you talking about the same doggone thing. Man, don't nobody want to hear that beep, 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 beep. And guess what? They was right. They didn't want me sucking the life out of them. They didn't want to be my trash can. Me dumping all of my complaints on them because I was unhappy with my situation. I've been that person that dumped all their problems on other people. So all I'm telling you, if you want to have a successful life, figure it out. Have faith and change your thinking, and then just stop complaining and whining. So some people said to me, well, Ross, how did you do that? I'm going to share that with you. There are a few things I began to do, and this is from a personal. Now, you can choose them or you can't choose them, but again, this is from my perspective. This is from my life experiences, and you can use them if you like. Let's be clear on that. I don't claim to be a clinical doctor or, gone to school and got all these PhDs. That title don't mean nothing. Because when life happens, yes, sir, that's when the rubber meets the road. And you got to figure it out. So a few things that I had to do. I had to totally separate myself from what I felt like was the thing that I was complaining about. That thing that was killing me. And that goes for every aspect of life. I'm not talking about a particular place, a job, or thing. I'm just saying over the years, over my life, I have learned that if it doesn't feel good, if it's hurting me, if it's causing me depression and anxiety, if it's making me downtrodden and me overthinking and just putting me in a bad place, if my energy is off, as folks would say today, but if my faith is weak and there are places and things and situations that I've allowed myself to succumb, then I have the ability to make the change and move. So separate yourself from those things. Number 2, I change locations. Number 3, I begin to develop different relationships. I begin to develop relationships that people that were not familiar with me. And then I begin to cultivate those relationships. You have the ability to change the narrative of your life. And, it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take faith and prayer if you are a person of faith. And if you are a person of prayer, then I promise you God will change the trajectory of your life if, in wisdom, that's what you believe. Because I know everybody doesn't have the same belief system. I want to make sure I make that clear. What works for me may not work for you, but whatever it is that works for you, figure it out, and then allow God to begin to make change. And you can change your situation. You have the strength and the ability to do so, and find out how to do it. It's up to you to take full control of your life and your mental state, your emotional state. It's up to you to make sure that you put yourself in those right relationships so that you can live the best life ever, period. It's not about money, peace, being happy with what you love to do. It's not about the fame and the fortune. That's a part of it. Some of those things just come with you being good at what you do. But at the same time, don't let that be the driving force to get you there. Now, I know we live in a different society today, and I don't want to get off and go off into a tangent about certain things. But listen, don't complain. So listen, let me give you a few things. I told you a few things that I did do, but let me give you some structured resources that I've used to help me evolve and become a better person. And you can get this. For me, I read there are a lot of things that I read in my private time, and it's called It's stuff of success. It's from people who have been in business for many, many years, people who are millionaires and billionaires. And if that's what you so desire, then sometimes you have to bring your thinking up to that. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're there yet, but you're thinking the way you think and who you hang around usually is what you'll become. All right. So here is something that I read, and at your leisure, you can go in. It's from there is a global summit that's going to be coming up soon. And I try to keep up with stuff like this. And it's called CNBC Evolve. And the title, this is by Gary Brunson. He's a contributor to this, right? So here's what the thing is. And here are some things that you can do to keep yourself from complaining and whining. All right. Number one, and again, these are resources that I've used to help me become better. If you would like to use these resources, then by all means, please do so. Number one, package your complaint like a sandwich. Woe is me has never won any friends, but positivity brings out the best in those around you. The complaint sandwich starts with a positive statement, followed by the complaint, and then closes with another positive statement. That's a great way to package that, right? I love it. All right. Number two, again, you can get this from CNBC Evolve. So when you get a chance, make sure you check that out. Go to cnbc.com. Number two, don't complain about what you created. Again, there are certain things that we have perpetuated that has put us in those situations. When fielding complaints, don't complain about a decision or a situation you created. Own it. In other words, accountability. It's the fastest way to change your karma from being the victim of circumstances to being empowered to change them. So again, these are things that you can do to change the trajectory of your life. And the chat said, amen. Number three, notice your surroundings. And I alluded to that a little bit, but I didn't say it this way, but I alluded to that. Notice your surroundings. Find out what it is that's causing you stress and causing you to be oppressed. My God. If you absolutely need to let out steam, consider the people you're around first. You just never know who's behind that door. The problem with Gripe Fest is the workplace is that they tend to happen in some secret or safe place, like the bathroom. So notice your surroundings. All right. Number four, banish the but. You got to get rid of that but. Just, I will. I'm going to. This will happen. It's already done, you know. Banish the but. Get that but out of that language. But, ain't no but. It will happen in the right time. It will. It shall. It's going to. The best is yet to come. Yes, sir. You know, you got to speak that to yourself. Nothing shoots down a group discussion faster than the word but. When one person floats an idea and another jumps in with but, what comes next is always negative. And it invariably leads to a disagreement. To improve team effectiveness, start replacing but with and. That's an interesting idea. And you might also consider. See that positive reinforcement back in there? Give it a try. Right? I mean, you might feel the energy in the room begin to shift and change. So listen, those are 4 tools that I hope that can help you to overcome or surpass complaining, the whining. You know, you want to get past that. You want to try to find a way to change your situation. And guess what? You have the ability to do it. I always have something that I always say. If it is to be, it's up to me. And literally, that is so true. If it is to be, it's up to me. How simple is that quote, right? That is like the most simple quote. I used to hear it always when I was excuse me, y'all, when I was a kid. And it still resonates with me today. You know, it's true. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And I think that's a beautiful quote. And it's a good quote to live by, I feel like. I feel like it's a great quote to live by. And it literally can change your life if you think about it in the literal sense. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. You just got to have a little bit of faith. And remember, faith is an action word. And if you got to get your feet to moving so that you can see what it is that you're to become, then man, get your feet to moving. If it is to be, it's up to me. So stop complaining. And that quote is by William Johnson. William H. Johnson. If it is to be, it's up to me. I had to bring clarity to that, but I keep saying it because I want you to get that deep down on the inside if you're a person that struggles with complaining and whining. If it is to be, it's up to me. Have faith, believe, and just do it. So listen, I hope that I've said something on today that can change the trajectory of your life, can bring about that success, that greatness that you are, that you're searching for. And stop complaining and stop whining. Change it. You have the ability to change it. So listen, I'm Car.Ross Sr. And this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. And I'm out. Peace. Make it a great day.